Today's video is my Twilight Cup tournament experience, and I'm going to start right now by saying it didn't really go that well. This tournament took place on the day when my channel went down, so my mind was really kind of focused on all that and what was going on with that, so I wasn't really focused on what I was doing in the tournament, and that's really ultimately what ended up costing me so many of these battles, because I made a lot of mistakes that I really shouldn't have made if I was really paying attention and focusing on the choices and the decisions that I was making. So regardless of whether it's me or my opponents or whoever's making mistakes, we can learn from it. So I'm at least going to go through and kind of point out the mistakes that I made, so hopefully you watching won't make those same mistakes in the Twilight Cup or in any PvP situation. Still a learning experience, even though I kind of did terrible. Enjoy.
Okay. You want to film this? Or?
This is super last minute. I'm so unprepared.
And he's
I'm just
super late.
I'm
he's
late.
Super
I'm
late.
30 minutes late. It's been a crazy morning. We'll talk about that. What do you think?
That's almost the exact same team I have, actually.
Really?
I'm
gonna go.
If you want,
I'm gonna go Golbat over a little one with 9 tails.
I don't think you need a Venusaur if you have that.
Yeah.
I don't have that or Venusaur, but if you have that, you don't need Venusaur.
Okay. I think I'm good.
I'm not using a Zoomerl either.
Fortunately. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you using a Zoomerl? Oh yeah. Yeah. You're using totally different stuff than I am.
All right. I'm going with it. I'm locking it in. I'm unprepared, but we're going.
I'm unprepared too, but...
Okay, Ken's hosting the tournament out here.
I am hosting.
I tweeted to get a little extra entries. You had like 3 people registered.
Yes.
And then I tweeted
wanted
like, hey,
like 16.
We got
16 man, but I got.
We got a room full.
Yeah.
So I'm ready.
Okay, I'm
ready.
Okay. All right, you guys ready? Everybody ready? Sorry. Woo, let's go.
Sneaking away to record this real quick. Here's the team. I made some last minute adjustments. I'm a little nervous about it. I'm going no Skuntank, so I have no dark poison, which kind of helps, sort of. I guess I have less things that Toxicroak counters. I'm using a Zoomerl. I have poison types, poison moves in Toxicroak, Venomoth, Golbat, and Quillfish, so I think that's plenty of poison. Since I have 2 water types, I'm expecting to see Venusaur. I have Golbat and Venomoth, which both counter Venusaur. And then, Toxicroak. You need Toxicroak, because everyone else is probably running a Dark Poison. So, we'll see how it goes. I haven't actually tested Tyranitar, but it should beat both Venomoth and Golbat. Yeah. Wish me luck. For this one, I'm just going to record my screen. I'm not going to record, the interactions, because it's just going to fill up my memory card, and it ends up being a lot of footage that doesn't actually get used. But we'll record the screen, and then we'll do some voiceover, talk about what's going on, talk about my thoughts behind this. I don't feel as confident about this one as I did for the Boulder Cup. It's a little bit more diverse of a meta. I haven't had as much practice, but we're gonna see how it goes. So, Twilight Cup starts now.
Oh my god. Oh my.
Never mind, I'm recording the first match because I just got matched up with Ken. I can't believe this right now.
We had to redo the tournament, and I had the easiest bracket in the first round. I had a legit buy, and then
here we go. So this is it.
Yeah.
I feel like my placement is determined by this first round.
Mine too.
I was literally just asking you for advice on my team, so you know.
No, I don't. Well, you know my team though. You can look at my team, right?
Yeah, it's almost the same. Oh my gosh. Okay. What things did I just tell you? Alright.
You think I'm gonna use T-Tar against you? I don't even know. I really don't know what we're gonna use though.
Alright, let's do it. Here we go. You didn't watch my practice stream?
No.
Good.
I think I was playing League. I definitely was playing League.
Oh my god. I can't believe this. I can't believe we got matched up first round.
Okay. Alright.
Oh, I'm lagging already, dude. I'm lagging.
You want to redo it?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. Let's redo it.
Already. So for my first round with Ken, it's Qwilfish versus Toxicroak. This is a matchup that I like. Qwilfish definitely wins with the right shield usage. Qwilfish deals a good amount of damage with Water Gun. It resists, doesn't take too much damage from counter, and then dishes out good damage with Aqua Tail. I do need to shield Mud Bomb because Mud Bomb is going to be super effective against Qwilfish. But if we're trading shields, Qwilfish wins in the end. Ken gets a good switch here into Muck. Regular Muck learns Thunder Punch now, which makes it it puts it in an interesting place. It's not strictly better than Alolan Muck. It's not strictly worse either. It just kind of depends on the matchup. I'm expecting Thunder Punch, so I try to switch. Unfortunately, Thunder Punch comes out before I can switch, and I shield it, which maybe I shouldn't have done because my switch goes through immediately afterwards. And now I'm left with a Qwilfish with low HP and not very much energy saved. So that shield was kind of a waste there. Mud Bomb is going to deal good damage back to Muck, super effective. Toxicroak obviously didn't take much from Thunder Punch, so I can knock out the Muck there. And now he's free to bring in a Toxicroak counter in Golbat. I do manage to squeeze out one Mud Bomb, which is going to deal not very much damage. Not very effective damage to Golbat. And now it's back to Qwilfish. I have to go to Qwilfish first. Try to get a little bit of damage in. No shields remaining. Ken did use Shadow Ball there, which is kind of good for me. He didn't mean to. But that's good for me because it costs him more energy. So it does leave his Golbat with less energy coming into the Azumarill matchup. Azumarill tanks Poison Fang pretty well, and then as long as I can get one Ice Beam, Golbat's going to go down. He had a Poison Fang ready to go, but I beat him to it just barely. And then it's Toxicroak Azumarill. He has, well, if it's Sludge Bomb, it is Sludge Bomb, and I lose narrowly. Had he not had enough energy for Sludge Bomb, I could have won that matchup.
Alright. Okay. Alright, good games. First match.
For our next battle, I decide on Venomoth over Azumarill. I get another decent matchup here. It's not a matchup that I've really practiced, but I know that as long as I can shield Thunder Punch, I should be okay here. I don't know why I decide to switch. Anyway, Venomoth, I sent it out. Thunder Punch, I let it go through the shield. I probably should have just left Qwilfish in, to be completely honest. But I went for it. Gives him the opportunity to switch in Golbat, which still loses to Venomoth, even though Wing Attack deals super effective damage. Confusion deals even better damage back to Golbat. So it's not a terrible matchup for me. I was trying to get Poison Fang off there, and unfortunately because Confusion is so slow, it has such a long animation, I wasn't able to get that Poison Fang off. Even though I had the energy ready to go, I was still in the Confusion animation there. Qwilfish versus Golbat. I'm good in this matchup. I don't really need to shield. It's Poison Fang, so it doesn't deal much damage at all to Qwilfish. I'm able to finish it off here with Water Gun. And then we're back to Qwilfish Muck. We're back to our leadoff matchup. I have Aqua Tail just about ready to go. And that finishes off Muck. I'm in good position here. It's Toxicroak, which, again, is a favorable matchup for Qwilfish. Luckily, I'm able to get the one last Aqua Tail off before I faint. And then with the shield left and fully healthy Toxicroak, it's GG. I win this one. We go to 1-1. We go into our final match. For this one, I stick with the same team. It worked out for me. I felt like I didn't need to make any significant changes. So again, it's Qwilfish Toxicroak in the lead matchup, and I'm feeling very good about that. Again, we play it out, as we typically have. His Mud Bomb comes through before my Aqua Tail, so I have to shield. I send back Aqua Tail, he trades a shield for that as well, and then he brings in Muck. Again, I have Aqua Tail ready to go. As far as like neutral damage with shields, I win this matchup, but since I'm already low, I go to Venomoth because, well, it's Venomoth, and Confusion is crazy strong, so it's going to take down this Muck pretty quickly. I save my energy, get ready to fire off a Silver Wind. As soon as he switches in, it's Golbat. So, again, I probably lose this matchup because this Golbat has full HP, but I get my buff, and it changes everything. Look at how little damage Golbat deals to me. I decide to shield because I have the buff active. I want to keep this Venomoth alive. And look at how much damage my Confusion deals. Well, you saw how much damage my Confusion dealt. And then Poison Fang, with the boost, even with not very effective damage, is strong enough to take down Golbat. And Toxicroak dies in one hit to Confusion.
I got critical hit!
Dude, that was so lucky.
That's
That was
so
really lucky.
disgusting!
I'd like to thank Niantic for adding stat boost.
Oh my god, I would have won that for sure!
I'm not sure that the battle would have gone differently had I not gotten the buff, but it definitely secured the win for me there. So after that first match with Ken, I didn't record with the camera anymore. I just recorded my screen, so we're going to go through and talk about it here. In the second round, after my win, it was pretty much all downhill from there. I got matched up with Ken's girlfriend, Lisa, and she's kind of his protege. Like, he's spent a lot of time training her and, like, practicing with her in PvP, so I was kind of just as nervous to battle her as I was to battle Ken. So to start it off, I was looking at her team. I saw Venusaur. Venusaur was a Pokemon that I expected to be a big issue, a bigger threat, a more common threat than it actually ended up being, and I kind of maybe overcompensated for that. If you look at my team selection here, Qwilfish, Toxicroak, Golbat. You see an issue right away. Dies completely to Venomoth. I get a decent matchup, a good matchup for me in the first round. Qwilfish versus Toxicroak, and that's a matchup I know I can win as Qwilfish. Now, Lisa switches to Venusaur. I have to switch immediately to Golbat, and that's okay. That's good. I was able to switch quickly because this was actually our third time replaying this match because of lag issues. So I knew if she's switching out, she's switching to Venusaur, I can switch quickly to Golbat right away. I don't have to shield Frenzy Plant because it doesn't deal very much damage at all with the double resistance on Golbat. I chose Shadow Ball over Poison Fang because I know Shadow Ball KOs in this instance. And she was maybe expecting Poison Fang, so didn't shield there. But now Venomoth comes out, and, well, you can see how this goes for me. I look at my team and I go, oh god, I brought in 3 Poison-type Pokemon and 1 with a double weakness to Venomoth's Confusion. So at this point, I know I pretty much don't stand a chance, but, you know, I'm trying anyway. I'm trying. Huge mistake there to bring in 3 Pokemon with a single weakness, and a single weakness to one of the biggest threats in the Twilight Cup meta. And then she gets the buff there, and of course it's all over. Look at how much damage a boosted Confusion deals to Toxicroak. 2 hits almost KOs it, 3 hits does it. So for the second round, I switched up. I added Tyranitar to deal with Venomoth. Still had 2 poison types though. In the first matchup, this is a good matchup for Qwilfish if Muck is running Poison Jab. Unfortunately, because Lisa was running Bite on her Muck, Qwilfish now loses this matchup. So I'm forced to switch knowing that. And then this is a huge mistake also. Don't switch to a Pokemon with a double weakness to a Pokemon that's very common. Because now I've given Lisa switch advantage here, and she takes advantage of it. She's smart enough to let the Muck go down, but then sends out Toxicroak, and I'm stuck here. Like, I literally can't do anything to Toxicroak with Tyranitar. And now that I can send in Golbat, which is a counter to her Toxicroak, she didn't switch earlier. She let the Muck faint, and now she gets to switch. She has switch advantage still, and can send in send in Venomoth, which now easily beats the rest of my team, knowing that my Tyranitar has already fainted. So switching in a Pokemon with a double weakness, very, very risky, and in most cases, not a good play to make. I should have just let that battle kind of play out. I know I was going to lose it, the initial matchup, Qwilfish versus Muck, but it's better than switching in Tyranitar and giving her that advantage, because now, I mean, you know how this goes. Confusion, Venomoth, Poison-type Pokemon. I try to get out one last Aqua Tail, but the match is over. So there it goes. 2 very big mistakes that I made, bringing in multiple poison-type Pokemon, 3 Pokemon with a single weakness. Don't know why I didn't catch that. And then also switching in Tyranitar. For my next matchup, I immediately noticed that my opponent has some Pokemon that are very weak to Tyranitar. We see Alolan Marowak, Venomoth, and Ninetales will all take super effective damage from Smackdown. And then Tyranitar also resists the Poison-type and Dark-type moves of Alolan Muck and Skuntank. So I'm feeling good about Tyranitar. This time around, my team selection goes to Qwilfish as a lead, of course, then Toxicroak, because he is running double Dark Poisons. I get a favorable matchup here. Again, because this Skuntank is running Poison Jab, Qwilfish resists it, Qwilfish wins this initial matchup. So I'm starting off in a good position. It doesn't stay that way. Venomoth comes in. Of course, I have to switch because it's Venomoth. And despite dealing big chunks of damage to my opponent here, he still gets to switch and switches to Toxicroak. And then down goes Tyranitar. Even though I can get 1 crunch off, not very effective at all. I've essentially just given up a Pokemon by switching Tyranitar in. I'm basically saying, here, you can have this, and giving them a free Pokemon. So the rest of the match plays out. I sent in Toxicroak for the mirror match, knowing that I have the advantage because I have full HP coming into it. It's just Toxicroak versus Toxicroak. And it kind of plays out as you expect it to, with me losing because I had less shields. Yeah. Qwilfish comes in, finishes off Toxicroak, but guess who's left? It's Venomoth, even though we're both low on HP. He's already got the energy charged up, and even without it, Confusion would have KO'd me much faster than Water Gun back at the Venomoth. Don't switch your Tyranitar in. Terrible mistake. Next match, I bring Venomoth, because why have I not been using Venomoth every time? I get a bad lead matchup, he read my Qwilfish start, maybe watched my live stream and knows how much I like leading with Qwilfish, or maybe just figured since I did it the first time, I'll do it again. I try to get some damage in. I do with Aqua Tail, but then I'm forced to switch again, and I made a horrible, horrible mistake. Let me just back it up here. This is the worst mistake that I made in this entire tournament, and it was just like a misclick. It was me not really focusing on what I was doing and trying to switch quickly and sending in the wrong Pokemon, and that completely cost me the entire match. I mean, the rest of it, I just gave up a Pokemon for free. Worse than giving up Tyranitar by switching it in. I literally switched Toxicroak in against one of its counters, and that's GG. Just really not paying attention was the issue there. Not fully focusing on what I was doing with the match. At the end of the tournament, I ended up 2-3. I won 2 rounds, first round and last round. I lost 3 rounds. And again, because of just horrible, horrible mistakes, oversight, and not really focusing on what I was doing in the tournament. So I also made a couple mistakes like pre-tournament with team building that I want to focus on. I misread the meta in that I expected Venusaur to be a little bit more common because I had such an issue with it when I was practicing against Reversal. Venusaur was such a problem for me. I kind of overcompensated for that. I switched, and I shouldn't have done this because they serve the same purpose. I dropped my Alolan Ninetales for Golbat last minute, and Alolan Ninetales beats Venusaur, it beats Toxicroak, and it has the added bonus of not dying super hard to Venomoth. I think it actually beats Venomoth. So I think in team building, definitely one mistake was switching out that Alolan Ninetales for Golbat. I think Ninetales fit better on my team, covered more weaknesses, and then also not running a Dark Poison like Skuntank or Alolan Muck. I don't think it was a huge issue for me. Qwilfish kind of filled that role nicely in that it has a lot of good neutral matchups. But definitely, Venusaur was not as big of a problem as I expected it to be, and switching out that Ninetales last minute in favor of Golbat was not smart. And also, I spent some dumb Stardust unlocking a second move for Tyranitar when it doesn't even need it. You don't need a second move on Tyranitar because you're really mostly running off of Smackdown and Crunch. probably. So yeah, just a lot of bad mistakes because I wasn't really focusing on what was going on. So in the end, Lisa made it to the finals. It was Lisa versus Howard. Howard is from here in Long Beach, and he's also very competent in PvP. This is his third Twilight Cup here, so he's had experience. And after a full 3 battles, Howard ended up closely, narrowly winning the tournament. So congratulations, Howard. And to everyone watching, I hope you learned from my mistakes. I'm going to try to find another Twilight Cup. I'd like to enter and hopefully do better on a day where I can be a little bit more focused on what I'm doing and not be so distracted. So we'll see. We'll see if I can find the time for that. We do have the Clam Pearl Day event coming up, so maybe on that day, I don't know. We'll see. I would like to do better in Twilight Cup, so stay tuned for that. See you soon.